Welcome to Just Mashing It. This week we're asking, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen in a public bathroom? How about you, Bada?
So the most fucked up thing, we were at a BK one time, enjoying a nice glorious Whopper, going to the bathroom. Somebody did not enjoy their glorious Whopper, and they were furious about it. There was, to quote Bob Saget, shit everywhere. Everywhere all over the giant handicap stall. Like, you know those things are wide, like 8 by 6 feet.
Dude just like made as little area as possible with his body, just went fetal, stood up on his head, and then just spun.
Dude.
And just went sprinkler on it.
And then to have to come out and tell somebody that.
Huh?
It was
No, I'm just.
This is an admission right now.
No, this was my friend.
Well, not when the DOS saw it, I wasn't.
No, that's all I can picture is just a dude like doing some breakdance spin on his head while just like poo is just like.
And then to have to go out and
a
like
techno
tell the
beat.
person that somebody needs to go in and clean that up, and seeing the guy who goes
It
in there
was-
to clean it up, and you're just like,
It was
dude, I
so
just
bad.
quit. Like-
It was so bad. You actually told somebody like, "I'm gonna have somebody go clean that up." That's how you know it's pretty filthy.
I'd like to go next because mine is kind of similar.
All
And,
right, Eric Powers, let's hear what you
yeah,
got.
Sorry, I didn't want to have somebody else jump in. But yeah, so worked at Hannaford's when I was like 15 to 16, just working, bag boy, carts,
Like
what-
everybody else did in high
bitch,
school.
Yeah.
whatever they wanted you to do. So there was a
Cleaning up shit.
Yeah, bathroom clean rotation, which basically consisted of just going in there with like just these like sticks with fucking brushes on the end. Like it was nothing like too crazy. You just like wiped it in the toilet and then you checked off a list that you fucking did it. And like if the floors were ridiculous, you fucking mopped them down and you marked that you did it. However, I get to my bathroom check one day, and it's just
Was it
a
a dark
single
and stormy
bathroom.
day?
Like if you open it up, there's like one sit-down toilet, a urinal, like a baby changing station, and a sink. No dividers or anything. It's
Yeah.
just like for one person to go in and do their biz. So around the toilet is literally, and on the toilet and on the seat and all around the walls is just smeared shit.
Like smeared, they're like hand smeared.
It was like ground into the walls.
Were there
Alright.
fingerprints and handprints?
I honestly, I can't remember,
Okay.
so I don't want to speculate. and
Dude, I would have gone all
make it not
freaking
true. No, I
CSI
literally,
on that shit and
No.
lifted a fingerprint.
no,
Be like,
I
"I'm
was
gonna
not
get this
having
motherfucker."
any of it. I just walked back out to the shift leader and I was like, "There's shit everywhere."
He's like, yeah,
Like-
I may get fired for this. I am not cleaning.
No,
it
no,
now."
I told him, I'm like, listen, I'm not cleaning it. Like, it's outrageous. It's like, it's just everywhere.
Who
Like,
cleaned
it's
it?
smeared all over the walls. And he was like, you have to. He's like, it's a rotation. Like, it could have been any. And I'm like, no.
It could have been
I'm like,
anybody.
it
It could have happened to anybody.
I'm like, listen, I don't get paid anything.
He had
I'm
a little,
not cleaning
He had
that.
a glimmer. He had a glimmer in his eye. He's like, it could have been anyone.
Yeah, no.
but it was you.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, I'm seriously, I'm not doing it. Like, I'll go to bagging or shagging carts right now, but like, you're on your own with this one. And then that was it. Like, I didn't do it. I don't know who he made did it. Dude, I feel terrible, but I honestly think he made one of the handicapped people do it. Who were like they had a handicapped lady like train me to clean bathrooms, so it was like her like forte. They're like, oh yeah, she's fucking great at it, And it's like, yeah, good job. But no, I'm pretty sure they really did get that same handicapped chick to clean it. But
Dude, that's rank though.
yeah.
I think people do it on purpose as like a sign.
It's like the hobo fence markings where they'd be like, this house is charitable, but it's like, this Walmart will kick you out.
Do you think the FBI has some sort of like fecal analyst?
Yeah.
Dude,
No, there's
sure.
an entire database.
person
They
wa-
actually bring in investigators and they take pictures and they try to match poo samples based on how messy it was in the bathroom to try to nab these guys.
This person is
Serial
approximately
poopists.
30 to 35, 5'6".
We're building a profile on this guy.
About
Poop is
220.
moving at approximately 14 miles per hour.
We have
at a
roughly
30-degree
We have
angle.
about 4 of these
It's like
types
the
of poops
blood
across
spatter
5 different
expert,
states.
but it's not
Yeah.
blood.
Yeah, the blood splatter guy comes in and he's like, wait, guys, this is shit. Get the shit splatter guys in here. Way different physics.
But wait, there's blood in this stool.
All right, this is going to be a combo job.
All right.
God damn it, Jones! It looks like we're getting back together. Figure this one out.
Tommy, what's the most fucked up thing you've ever seen in a public bathroom?
On one of the trips down to North Carolina, we stopped. There's a like one of those highway stop rest areas that's like a gas station and shit in Jersey. and I went into the bathroom to take a piss, and you know how like the bottom of the urinals, there's like a foot that's like open, like the swinging door, and you can like see under the urinals.
Most people aren't looking down there, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like you could see it. I walked in, so there's like the row of urinals, and then there's the row of stalls, and like I didn't see it right away, but when I walked in, unzipped, I was at the urinal taking a piss, and I just started hearing these like weird like humming noises. And I was like, what in the fuck? And I turn around, and there's like 2 high heels sticking out from one of the stalls, like high heels pointing out. I was
So
like,
she was
oh my
definitely
God.
blowing some.
I was like, somebody's getting a friggin' blow jibber right in the fucking bathroom.
New Jersey.
And I was like, I've been holding it since we left, so I was like, come on. And then all of a sudden, to like break the tension, you just hear. And I was like, this guy's getting a fucking pumpkin.
That is amazing.
So to cut the tension even more, I like finished and like and then left.
Oh man.
But I like kind of, I was with Tyler, so I told him about it, and then we were like, dude, we should stay. I want to see the people come out of there, and it was wild.
just
They didn't
never
come out.
came
They weren't
out.
enjoying themselves apparently.
That's hilarious.
Wow. So magical world down there, I tell you.
Yeah, Jersey's.
The Jersey Turnpike.
only the best and brightest
Indeed.
travel that road.
Indeed,
Yeah.
the Garden
Yep.
State. So, Doug, what's the most twisted shit you've seen in a public bathroom?
So this isn't really that twisted, but I was at work, a place of business, right? Business casual is the dress, unless you're upper management and you wear suits. So it's like
Khakis.
a nice place. Like
Yeah.
you
Executive,
dress
you could
nice.
say.
So walk into the bathroom at the urinal, and there's just this massive booger on the wall. And not like okay, somebody like might have done a little snot rocket in their hand with the anticipation of washing their hands in a second. This was like picked and placed on the wall.
Conveniently at eye
Yeah.
level at the urinal.
At exact,
Like on display.
Yeah. Like someone
trophy.
Yeah, someone was picking their nose, like maybe I'll just wash my hands, and they go, oh, and they're like, everyone has to see this booger. It just, in high school, it's kind of funny, like, boogers. Now you're in your 20s or 30s
Or
or
40s.
40s or 50s or 60s or however old this dude was, and just places it. It just makes you wonder, like, why does he need to put his booger on the wall? Like, public bathroom, dude, do it up. All right, that's what they're for. But you have to go in there and see it. Or did you want to display it knowing no one will take it down because no one wants to touch it because it's icky, and you can just see it every day? Like, that's mine. Like I was probably at the urinal for about a minute and a half, just thinking, just staring at it, like, trying to figure out the
We're just coming up
psychology of
with
the
these,
situation.
like,
Yeah.
theories and possibilities.
like,
in
The
your
what
head.
motivation
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like create a criminal profile of this guy. Like, what is he? What does he do?
A lot of profiling going on.
What
tonight.
department does this guy work in? Things like that. Like, what was he doing?
What's in there?
Was
You
this
really
an
are.
IT
You
job?
mentioned he'd be like all CSI with the poop smears. You're
Yeah.
going all CSI on the booger.
Yeah,
Trying to
It was
get to
just-
the bottom of this
yeah.
booger.
But I was getting like philosophical with it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just trying to think, like, what does this represent?
What does it all mean?
Massive
You're
booger
just
at eye
spacing out,
level.
like, you have the best thoughts when you're peeing, so you're just standing there at the urinal, just like staring deep into the soul of this booger, and it's just speaking to you.
Yeah.
Now, did anybody like walk in and just catch you staring at this like fucking?
Well, they probably would have thought I was peeing. I don't remember if anybody walked in, but they would've
I
just
didn't know if you were
walked
like peeing and then like eyeballing.
in. No, I wasn't like as close to it as I could get.
Oh, okay.
I was in regular urinal peeing position, just staring
So your pants were down.
around the ankles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And my panties as well.
Yeah.
So just butt cheeks flapping in the
That's
wind.
I've always wanted to do that and just see what people's
Just-
reactions would be. Like,
And if
hey.
you just walk into a public bathroom with a long trough too, it's not even like individual urinals. Just drop them and just
I think is
then
that
lift
like
up the shirt too.
Yeah,
Like,
better.
so you've got full like
5-year-old style?
ankle to shoulder view of this guy's backside.
Isn't there an episode where Butters does that?
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah,
that, dude.
but it would
So
just be just like that, just hanging out.
What about you, Ian? What's the freakiest shit you ever seen?
I've seen some freaky shit living in the dorms in college and whatnot. Mostly just puke and poop and all that.
And condoms, clogging
yeah.
toilets.
Oh, but the funniest weird thing that happened to me in a public bathroom was at a crowded airport when me and my brother were peeing at a line of urinals. But I don't think people knew that it was my brother. And he leans over to me and he's like, "Hey, nice dick, dude." And I was just like, "Oh, what the fuck, man?" Like, I don't know if we got any weird looks because I was just kind of trying to finish my deal and get
dude,
out
I
of there.
would've-
But
Yeah.
nobody cracked up either.
If
Like,
someone
if somebody was
did that to
like,
me, I'd be
"That's funny."
I'm doing like, yeah, buddy.
No, I was just like, I forgot what I said to him. I was basically like, "What the fuck?" And then I
Nah,
just
I
got out of there.
I would have gone with it.
I wish I had.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
you
funny.
You gotta like
It
go
was just
thanks,
pretty
wink
awkward.
at him, slap him on the cheek.
I'm like, "Oh, yeah, hey, you too, man. Right on."
That's when you're just like, dude, feel his tight ass too.
You want to play swords?
You see this veiny triumphant bastard? Could be all yours.
A little bit of crap, a little bit of app. It's craps. Cacao.
I got some good new crappy apps on my phone this week. They both came from the Humble Bundle, and I'd call them the best worst games of the Humble Mobile Bundles that I've seen. One is a port of an old game, Desert Bus, which you may have heard of before. And then the other one is KWOP.
What's KWOP? I've heard of Desert Bus. We'll talk about that. What's KWOP? I'm interested.
KWOP was a free Flash game that they released on a web browser where you control a sprinter running, and you've got 4 keys, KWOP, KWOP. And each key controls one leg segment. But it's so impossible to control that basically you thrash around until you fall flat on your face or stumble backwards, and then you get to start over. It's really bad.
Sounds great.
Well,
But they immediately got like 1 million plays. Like, it blew up. It's pretty old, but the game blew up. I forget how
It's
many
not-
millions of plays they have
I've
now.
actually heard of that. Yeah, it sounds awesome.
well, yeah,
It's pretty cool.
they had a follow up called KLOP where you were on a horse, and each key did a different leg, so you had to figure out how to make him gallop, and then you have to jump over things. So you'd be like, oh no, he just fell on his face. Okay.
No,
Start
I call
over.
it the best worst games because even KWOP has its own charm. It's not a well-designed game, but it just kind of makes you laugh.
But it's all physics based. Like you have to
Yeah,
run.
it's
based
actually
on real
interesting
physics.
and cool. The thing is with the keyboard controls, when you have those 4 keys, you can actually get in a rhythm where I figured out how you can kind of run. But on the phone, they changed to the controls where you almost, it's like you have 2 joysticks that you have to move with your thumb, and it's just completely retarded.
Just brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just, you don't just tap the screen in different areas anymore?
Nope.
That's
You have to slide your thumbs around.
That's not cool.
They updated the graphics, so now you almost look like an actual person, but the controls are...
Do you
Pretty
bleed
much.
and stuff? Because I've seen that
No,
one
you just
game.
kind of flop around.
Have you've seen that one game, right? Where you have to you're on a bicycle and you're making him
Oh,
do
yeah.
different things.
Is that Happy Wheels?
I don't know, but then you fall and bust your head, and your head separates, and there's blood
That's
spewing
Happy
everywhere.
Wheels.
And then you get twisted around. That game looks awesome. Happy Wheels.
I could
That one looks
actually...
awesome.
I could do a whole segment on Happy Wheels and a YouTube
That one looks-
personality.
That one looks awesome. But Desert Bus, though, I've heard about in the past.
Yeah, well, that
Great.
because it had some interesting history.
love
I
the
knew it was Penn and
clipboard.
Teller, but I forgot until you guys reminded me earlier how it was in a response after Columbine, and people are trying to blame video games for school violence and saying that video games are getting too realistic. And they said, "Oh, you want to see a realistic video game?" And they made the most realistic desert bus driving simulator. We're driving a tour bus to Las Vegas through the desert on almost a perfectly straight road. You do have to bear to the left occasionally. And it takes 8 hours real time to get there, and the graphics suck, and the whole game is terrible, and it's awesome. It's beautiful. I took out my phone to show these guys Desert Bus, and then the next thing you know is 10 minutes
Terrible.
later, I'm still driving. I was like, well, I'm going. Might as well keep on trucking.
Yeah, it was just done as
It's
a
satire.
testament, satire or against anti-video game lobbyists, which I don't know why you have to be against video games. You could just not like them, but
Well, because they think that it's corrupting the youth, and
It is corrupting the youth.
Well,
That's
it's
right.
not in the way
makes
that
us
they
like
think.
to play
though.
video games.
Yeah, they've already done studies where they've proven there's no link between violent video games
They've
and
actually,
school violence.
as far as I know, even with games similar to Call of Duty or first-person shooters, they've seen that it actually most people who play them have faster or better
Oh, yeah.
hand-eye coordination and quicker response times.
Right.
to
map reading skills also
a lot
improve.
better.
Map
Like,
reading.
It's just an easy scapegoat.
Because of the way you have to orient yourself
Oh, yep.
virtually.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
But they're
Yeah.
still always trying to fund new studies to prove a link, just because it's an easy scapegoat. It's easy to say, oh, it's the violent video games.
you'd think they would give up. They'd given up by now. It's like, all right, maybe if we throw more money at it, this time it will come back in our favor.
Look, most people following that type of thing, first of all, they're not following that type of thing, but they're caught up in the emotion of whatever tragic event just happened,
Yeah.
and they're not even aware of the studies that have already been conducted. So they're willing to throw their support behind that
yeah.
until they get distracted and move on to the next thing.
Most recent thing I read, and by read I mean I read the headline and moved on, but I guess there was a study to say that interactive entertainment video games is not detrimental at all to behavior. It isn't applicable to like behavioral issues. Nice town. But TV is. So like if
'cause
you're
you're
going to
not
pick between
engaged.
TV or video games, put your kid on video games. 'Cause-
Yes.
Well, on TV, you're not engaged. You could just be spacing out or not moving or thinking or.
Right, you're not
My thumbs are
applying your
buff.
own morals, your own values, your own ethics to a situation. You're just accepting whatever somebody gives you for something like that. I got deep, sorry.
I'm trying to find this game. I
Which
can't
one?
remember what it's called. It's like attach your friends or something like that. I can't remember what it's called. Basically, there's like these little guys, and you have four. It came out for Xbox originally. You had 4 buttons, Y, A, X, B, and that was like your hands. You had one for each hand and one for each leg. What you had to do is make a tower made out of these bodybuilder dudes who were in Speedos and had giant dongs. And it was hilarious. And I think the end goal was to eventually like get a goat up there somehow. But you have to like
there.
to move on the ground, you have to like make your guy like walk or spin, and then you have to like use physics to like get
Yep.
him to attach
That's
to other things to like climb up to the top.
That's a pretty similar concept, at least for moving for KWOP and KLOP.
Have you guys heard of?
But it was hilarious
Tobuscus?
because they made a sense because people were getting offended by the fact that they made these bodybuilders with these really long like clear wieners. So they made like a version where it was like they put a black bar of it but made it way longer. So the entire time you're like watching the video, there's this massive black bar swinging around. It's like, this is amazing.
Do you
It
know
was ridiculous.
Tobuscus on YouTube?
No.
All he does is records videos of himself playing user-made levels on Happy Wheels. A really simplistic.
What's his name? PewDiePie played that game. Has a ton of videos of him doing that.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing where he just records himself playing and he freaks out and people are like, oh, this is so funny and great. I'm like, all he's doing is freaking out at scary games.
No, but
This sucks.
No, but dude, Happy Wheels is a simple, free Flash game that he plays in his web browser, and he makes a living making these YouTube videos where people are lining up around the block to watch him play a free Flash game. I didn't get it. And then I was like, well, maybe it's a really cool game, and I tried it, and I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. There's something else going on here. I haven't figured it out.
Oh no, it's the creeps. Oh no, you know I'm telling all my peeps, you best look out for them creeps. See what we need here, we're gonna need some towers to defend ourselves with their mad tower power. See, I'm sitting on the toilet, but I'm not even pooping. Motherfucker, I'm just creep shooting. With the tower defense, I'm on the offensive, but you know the best offense is a good defense. So hey, I upgrade my shit. I'm blowing up the creeps. I keep it real legit. I'm just pooping, except I'm not pooping. All about work. I'm just fucking shooting mad creeps, upgrading towers. Motherfucker, I could do that shit for hours. Get the high score, post on the leaderboard. Oh man, this is absurd. I got the area effect going crazy. Faster attack speed than Patrick Swayze. Roadhouse. I'm talking bug defender. I got balloons 5 going, desktop defender. The penguins are exploding. I'm the tower defender. So fresh. and so clean. Oh, motherfucker, I'm the best that you've ever seen. I used to have a friend, his name was Kyle fucking Pierce. His style of defense was so fierce until things got really mean. When he blew up my high score, you know he beat my whole team. Hey, with the tower defense, I'm saying best offense is a good defense. The best defense has towers, which have been upgraded. I could do that shit for hours. So why I gotta even tell you about the tower defense? You mean you've never been chilling and seen a whole bunch of creeps coming your way, and with nothing to defend yourself but some fucking towers? Well, then you don't know real life. You don't know hip-hop. With the tower defense, the best offense is a good defense. The best defense has towers, which have been upgraded. I could do that shit for hours. Tower defense. Upgrade that shit, boy.
Five regular bums from someplace you don't know. Talk about shit you don't care about. But movies? Pow! Pow, pow!
We just watched the trailer for The Wolf of Wall Street, the new Martin Scorsese film coming out with Leonardo DiCaprio, Matthew McConaughey, and Jonah Hill. I thought it looked pretty damn good. What did you guys think
I'm
about
glad
it?
you remembered his name because I don't ever remember Jonah Hill's name. I
Oh, yeah?
never. When I'm talking in the
It's always the
conversation,
fat kid from
I'll remember.
Superbad.
I remember. Yeah, exactly. I'll remember it's Jonah Hill for the rest of this conversation. But 2 days from now, if you mention the movie, like, who was in Wolf of Wall Street again? Oh, that was DiCaprio, and I think Matthew McConaughey was in it. And you know that funny kid? He's fat. He was in Moneyball. Oh yeah, Jonah Hill. Oh yeah, that's the guy's name.
I was gonna mention Moneyball because it looks like it's the same role. There's some like Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio like making all the moves, and then Jonah Hill is like, "Hey, I'll help you. I'll rub your temple."
I'll rub your balls.
Yeah. It's like we all need a Jonah Hill. Like when you're on top and you're banging all the supermodels driving your Jag, like you don't need Jonah Hill. But when the feds are closing in on you, and you're crying on an airplane,
That's
You need Jonah Hill. You need a fall guy.
you need Jonah Hill to rub your belly.
when your balls are literally sweating off. Ever since I saw Departed,
Good
I've
movie.
loved Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
and
Like,
Django
a
Unchained.
slight man crush. Haven't seen Django Unchained yet.
Oh, you will love
Get the
Yes.
fuck out.
No, just this is the same reaction that I've been getting for Anchorman for how long? Don't build this up to a point
hurry up
where
and
Well,
watch
then
it.
stop
Can't
taking
live
your
up to
sweet ass
it.
time to watch
I
these movies.
have to take
I
my
own-
sweet ass
here,
time.
I own
I know
that
how
as
much
well.
time you spend playing Dota. You can
Yeah.
watch Django Unchained.
Yes, I know.
All right.
But then I won't be playing Dota.
Fair enough.
Anyways, I've been a huge fan of him ever since I saw The Departed. So every time he's in a movie, ooh, what is this? A lot of times you end up just not being excited about it.
Yeah, you don't
Shutter Island.
need to see
But-
Gatsby.
Or Inception.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Or
it's
wait, what was
Wait.
it? Contraception or Inception?
Inception?
Inception.
Wait,
Inception?
I loved
Intravenous
Inception.
Inception?
Yeah, but that's Nolan. That might be worthwhile.
I loved Inception. It is
Christopher Nolan.
I
hard
haven't
to
watched it yet.
follow.
I hear
Dark
it's love
Knight?
hate though. You love it or you
Yeah,
hate
you
it.
either love it or you hate it, definitely.
But if
I
you
recently
hate
had a
it, it's probably
discussion-
because you're having a dream, and inside that dream
A
you
dream
hate it. But
inside
in the
a dream.
dream inside that.
But
dream.
it looks what I like about it is it seems to be a pretty straightforward drama, which
It's
straightforward.
based on it's based on a
But-
true story.
lots of comedy.
Yeah.
There's definitely gonna be a lot.
Wait,
of
are we
comedy.
talking about The Wolf of Wall Street or Inception?
Yeah, of
No,
course
no,
we're talking.
we're
We're
talking
talking about the movie. When
we just switched
Oh,
gears.
somehow we were talking about dreams inside of dreams. Anyway,
Inception
yeah,
is
Wolf of Wall
definitely
Street.
not straightforward in any way, shape, or form.
No, but I agree with Doug that I think it's a drama with a good amount of comedy. Which I mean, it's Martin Scorsese. It's
yeah,
gonna be.
That's one of the reasons I like Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's one of those actors that can do the comedy without, like, obviously, it's like the way he says a line or something like that. It makes it, like, funny, as opposed to just outright coming out
Right.
with comedy
It's not-
writing.
Yeah, it's not Jim Carrey. You know, doing his Ace Ventura as this guy who owns this Wall Street business
Right.
or whatever. Can you imagine that? Like the Fed show up, he's talking
And
about
he's-
that.
Benny Hill music.
Do you have
comes
a
in.
warrant? But
Excuse me, Mr. Federal Agent.
But yeah, I'm not a fan of dramas usually because they all seem to remind me of Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
But if you can mix in the right
stories.
elements and the right actors too, that's the other key thing.
Yeah.
It has the beginning has kind of a catch. Anybody ever see Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got that kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Probably
You mean
because it's
the
Leo
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio film?
He was in that. Yeah.
The only thing
Playing
I
a Sly
don't like
Fox.
Yeah.
about it is that
Or
it seems
wolf.
to be like a new spin on. Did you ever see Boiler Room?
No,
Or Wall Street with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
which was also Scorsese, right? Or no, that was Stone. Who did
That was
Wall
Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Stone.
Well, there's the Wall Street theme, but then there's also maybe similar to Catch Me If You Can, where it's like you like to see a character getting away with breaking the rules.
Because you want to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
It's
Right.
it's
just like
the
getting all the
GTA
money and all the
effect.
women and
It's
all
the
the.
GTA effect.
Well,
I wish I could just do this because he makes boatloads of money
Yeah.
and he never dies.
The-
And
the
he
trailer
gets to ice
goes-
people.
The trailer goes from Catch Me If You Can into Goodfellas pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like the entire trailer, like Goodfellas is the same basic
But
format.
nobody's
It's
getting
like
hurt.
nobody's really getting hurt. Everybody knows, and then it just spirals out of control real fast, and you're like dumping bodies out of trunks of cars, and
I
you're like,
actually
where
related
the fuck
to
did
these
we
guys
get
at
here?
the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
And now
now
I'm
you-
frightened
No.
by them.
right. You just beat him to
The
death with
movie
a
that
baseball
holds-
bat. I'm confused.
All right, we just watched the trailer for Anchorman 2. Same cast as the first one: Will Ferrell, Steve Carell,
There you go.
the other guy.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul Rudd's in there somewhere.
And then the
And,
bald guy who's in a lot of.
a lot of stuff.
The guy that plays
Stuff.
Champ.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it looks awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go ahead and see it in the theaters.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't
won't go
watch
that far.
movies in
That's
theaters
crazy talk.
anymore.
What?
I don't get out much anymore. I don't really
well,
watch things.
that's
in
because you're.
It
fucking-
may be worth an illegal download though.
Yeah.
Mm.
Give it a bit.
Might be. We'll see. Hopefully, I think Netflix just
One of the most
needs
enticing
to
things.
fight back against Amazon Prime.
I
Mm.
think the wardrobe and the mustaches are going to be key to this film. 'Cause they had
Oh,
some
yeah.
Because they
sweet
look
outfits,
exactly the same.
sweet outfits and facial hair.
So the first Anchorman was 1970s. This one, I assume, is current.
No, it looks
Modern
I thought the
like
day?
80s.
first Anchorman was in the
80s.
80s.
Eight-
There's like the
Well-
GNN, the first global news network.
Well, when it-
So it's when things start
I
to get
missed the part where
syndicated.
When it pans across when Brick is doing his own eulogy, it actually says on his tombstone 1978.
So it's still the 70s.
Yeah,
So it's
when he
late
was
70s.
born.
Yeah.
Or when he died.
No, that was
No, when he died.
Oh,
The
okay.
when he was born was a
Right.
question mark.
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked up on that.
It will be interesting because that's when Coke started really getting popular, right?
Oh,
Early
man.
70s was
It'll be
still
Classic
weed and then-
silliness. I mean,
Yeah.
like Talladega Nights or like
Yeah,
any of those.
some
If you just
classic
get Will
Will
Ferrell on
Ferrell.
screen goofing around and ad-libbing with friends who are also funny, you get some good shit.
The thing I think
Even
is
just the blooper reel on the DVD is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
the commercials for the
possibly
Durango.
even funnier than the actual movie.
The Talladega Nights blooper reel was hysterical.
And
I
you know these group of
haven't seen
actors get along and they just joke around.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
well,
Well,
aren't
fun
they're,
shit.
they're in a lot of films together. Steve Carell and Paul Rudd have a few together.
Yeah, and most of the time when they do movies like this, I've noticed like you ever see most everybody here has seen Role Models.
Oh yeah.
That entire movie, like all the scenes were set up, but it was all ad lib.
right.
Yeah.
Like they had a rough thing,
Yeah.
and if you go through all of if you go through the extras for all the deleted scenes, that's just like a fraction of what they had.
There was a whole summer that me and Badal would text back and forth while we were at work, just the quotes from Role Models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John
so-
William Scott's amazing.
Oh man. Yeah.
I see the Stifler.
Yeah.
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 But I hated those movies, and I actually didn't think he was that funny in those.
No,
but I
for
saw,
some reason I always
The original.
Start-
The first one was
I didn't-
okay.
I watched part of it, but I guess I just didn't understand.
They started
Yeah.
trying too hard after that.
Yeah, I think they tried too hard with the first one.
Yeah.
Finally, we just watched the trailer for 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves. I didn't recognize anybody else in the trailer. It had none of the really well-known kung fu movie stars that you see in like Crouching Tiger.
Like Jet
and-
Li or
Oh no, like what's his name?
Because-
Something Young Fat. What's his name?
Chow
Young
Yun Fat,
Fat.
because
Yeah.
because they're obviously Japanese. Every single kung fu, every single Chinese person should be in a movie about Japanese people.
I'm not trying to
Racist.
be a dick. I'm saying I didn't recognize any of the actors. All right.
no,
That's all that's all I said.
I didn't either. I actually the woman that's supposed
The
to be
evil
like,
woman.
No, was it the evil? I don't know if it was the evil woman or the good one. One of them definitely looked familiar. Like I've seen them from another like kung fu movie of some kind. One of them definitely looked familiar. I can't say for sure. But
The head
Yeah, it
Ronin
looks
looks
like it's-
familiar too.
it basically looked like it was Keanu Reeves doing Matrix Reloaded. with
With a sword.
with a sword instead of a pipe that he ripped out of or a pole that he ripped out of the ground. Like a lot of the fight scenes looked like they were going to be massive, big fight scenes, sort of like him versus all of the Agent Smiths.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought
And I feel like this is the first movie he's done since Matrix, isn't it? Has he done
No,
any other movies since
nothing
the Matrix?
good.
Can
Nothing
you name
like
a movie?
this.
Can you name a movie?
Generation Next
Ooh.
Ouch.
looks
Is
like
that it?
crap. Yeah,
Is
that's
that-
the
it's
only-
Generation.
It's the only one I can name right
But
now.
I'm
Generation.
But I'm
Oh,
saying you
Generation
can't.
Alum, okay.
You really can't even name a movie he's done. So
He
he's
did
coming back
Man-
to do
well,
action movies.
No,
So-
when you said Man of Tai Chi.
I thought this movie looked interesting. It looked different than Matrix Reloaded. If they can get into what looked interesting to me, might have been if they have some weird mythology between all
Yes.
these weird creatures.
Yep.
That looked cool. Kiana in this trailer did nothing for me. I think some actors get a bad rap for no reason, but I think Kiana just isn't a very good actor.
Well, he doesn't say much in the movie.
Well, he's always making the same face. They're like, "We're gonna take your life," and he's like, "If you
Yeah,
can."
just totally lethargic
Without
it's always-
emotion. He's
yeah.
just.
We were
That's
talking
no.
earlier before we got on the podcast about the charitable donations that he's done, and like, I'm not saying he's a bad person. He's just not a very good actor.
No, he's
Yeah.
not a method actor. It's like that's how he is, and that he's not
Right.
deviating.
The
from that.
I think
sort of like when what's his name runs.
yeah.
Clint Eastwood when he runs. You need to be in a dead sprint. A helicopter is chasing you down with a chain gun, and he's jogging.
Yeah.
This is my sprint, and I'm Clint Eastwood.
Keanu Reeves was born to play only one role in his lifetime. He was destined
Bill
from
and
birth.
Ted.
Oh, 2 roles.
Two
'Cause I was
roles.
thinking, well, technically 3 because of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but the one I was thinking of was just Point Break.
Yeah.
He was born for that
Yeah.
role, and for the
Well, I would say Neo, but anything
and from
where
the near mythological proportions of the
couldn't
Sand
no.
Demas.
I couldn't imagine anybody else in Point Break.
Right?
I laugh at certain points in that movie.
Yeah, I'd say for the first half of the trailer, I was bored, and by the end of the trailer, I thought, okay, I'd check this movie out. It looks interesting.
It looked like it had some real nice CG done for like some of the fights. Looked like it could be pretty epic.
Yeah, if it's done well, it'll be good.
Yeah.
That sounds stupid.
fair-
If
no,
they
I
make-
know
If
exactly
they do
what you
it
mean.
good, it's good.
If
then we're good.
No, I think you're.
But
I
yeah.
know what you meant. I know what you meant.
Because crappy CG can ruin a movie, but
I'm
you can
hoping-
overcome crappy acting and crappy story.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see the
Sharknado.
trailer and they just put.
Exactly. Sharknado is a perfect example, right? It's all script and all set up in storyline at that point.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, and then everything else not good.
Have you seen it yet?
Yes, it was amazing.
I could not. I've only gotten halfway through it, but I could not help throwing out Home Alone references all over the place because Kevin's dad is the guy who gets is like the old guy at the bar drinking all the time. It's Kevin's dad from Home Alone. So it was,
okay. Well, I didn't.
but
do
then
that
he
'cause I
died, so I stopped
recognized-
watching because I
Yeah.
couldn't make any more.
No.
references.
Oh, you really? You stopped? It was amazing. Do you know how they? I don't even want to ruin it, but
No,
it's-
please do.
okay. So
Spoiler alert.
Okay, so eventually there's 3 separate twisters touching down on the city.
Oh shit.
3 separate Sharknados. Now there's a main one and there's 2 smaller ones. Okay, so what they have to do is the guy who owned the bar,
Right.
the main
From
or the
90210.
lead-
I don't remember.
I don't know
what
why
character
you
he plays.
know all these things. Stop talking. The lead actor, his son in the movie just happens to be going to flight school, so they go to get him, and so the genius plan is to fight back. That's the only way to stop this thing.
Yeah, whenever
Like,
there's
as
a
if it's an
natural
evil
disaster,
spirit,
you have to
as
fight
if it's
back.
an evil spirit of some kind. I mean,
Right.
they at least had some scientific basis for.
Did they?
But when
Did we
if a
hear it?
tornado actually touches down in the sea, it can actually pull up fish. Sort of like with a cow, it can pick up a cow and launch it. It's the
Sure.
same type of thing.
Right.
I'm with
So
ya.
they just make it extreme. Okay, fine, I'll actually bite. But when it's a natural disaster of sorts versus an evil spirit or an actual bad guy who's making this happen, that's
Right.
when you fight back. When it's 3 separate tornadoes just with sharks, right, that are somehow surviving through this. Mostly flooding in the streets, and then they're in the streets, and it was awesome. But anyways, they have to fight back. So what they do is based on scientific proof of how tornadoes work, right?
Right.
Which are 2 different temperature airs at the top and the bottom. What they're gonna do is they're gonna throw homemade pipe bombs that they happen to find in a warehouse right across from the flight school area. Hey, you know what? I can deal with a little bit of like this just happens to all work together.
Suspension of disbelief.
Right,
Come on, we
a
can
little
believe
bit,
the
a little
pipe
bit.
bombs were there.
But then they fly the helicopter into it and actually throw these pipe bombs in, and then the explosion causes all the air to heat or get heated up, and they're at the same.
I'm disappointed.
temperature,
I would have
tornado
preferred like
falls.
compressed canisters of air just getting chucked, and then Roy Scheider appears in a helicopter and just starts plugging away at them.
Anyways,
Son of a
Anyways,
bitch.
it was absolutely amazing, and just the part I'm sure you've all seen from the previews, where he's standing there with the chainsaw, right? But there's multiple parts where a couple parts where he's like holding the chainsaw and a shark flies at him, and he just like puts like
tears
rear,
through the thing.
just 1 foot forward, 1 foot back for the support, right? Because you
He
only
stands
need
still,
one,
and the shark
right?
is just like
And the
driving
shark-
past him.
Yeah, and the shark just comes straight at him, and he just cuts it in half in seconds. It doesn't hit the saw and just then come fall on top of him, and then he's trying to saw through, and it's like, oh my god, this is terrible. But so
Like
Would
a
it
hot
be
knife
end,
through
at
butter.
the end,
Would
at
have been
the end.
believable like a sword or something
Now,
like
this
that,
is
but a
where-
chainsaw.
This is where the story got a little unbelievable, but it was right at the end.
So this point right here.
So when they're up in the helicopter, the chick who's afraid of sharks because she's been attacked by sharks. Okay, that's fair. That's a
Okay.
reason
That's
to
a
be
good backstory. That
yeah.
leads room
Yeah.
for character development.
Right, and that's why she wants to fight back because she really hates sharks.
Yeah.
So, anyways, she's up in the tornado and then ends up getting ripped out of the helicopter by one of the sharks.
And
that's
now during
flying
the
by.
scene, I'm sorry, but are there torn clothing articles exposing extra areas?
No, that was
Okay.
all at the beginning. They
Okay.
got all the partial nudity out at the beginning
All right.
Yeah.
because it was set up on a beach.
That way
So, yeah,
you
they got all that out of the
you
way.
just
right at the
mash it,
beginning.
and then you're not distracted
Yeah,
for
then
the
you're
rest of
just
the
like,
movie.
boom, I'm done. I'm gonna watch the rest of the movie. So,
Right.
so she gets pulled out, and you think she's dead, and you know, well, she's not gonna be dead because for some reason she fell instantly in love with the owner's son, and she was in love with. It's weird. You have to watch the movie. It's a great storyline with relationship issues.
We might
But
need
anyways,
an honorary trailer posted
Yeah,
so that people
maybe.
can
Yeah,
watch
we will.
Sharknado.
We will. Sharknado. It's amazing. Just post a direct link to watch it on Netflix.
I
Everybody's
just
got
I
Netflix.
love the science behind it.
But
is that
it gets
you
better.
can't fix it. Bomb the shit
Yeah,
out of it.
But it gets better. It gets better. So the very last, the pinnacle moment where I just said this movie isn't even believable anymore. A giant shark comes down and actually swallows the guy while he's got the chainsaw. But much like any time you're swallowed by a large creature while you have a chainsaw, Gears of War 2, he cuts out of it. And who happens to be inside the other shark? The woman that got ripped out of the helicopter. And he saves her life.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. But it was just unbelievable with the whole shark actually swallowing. It's like, no, that's not gonna happen. You'd be covered in more digestive juices when you get out.
and not swallowed whole.
You mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that the Academy passed on this?
Not yet.
What do you mean the
It's
Academy?
it should still be
The
under
awards?
consideration.
It should be
I
the
heard-
most original storyline ever.
I think it was the most talked about film at Cannes, and everybody knew that it was bad, but it was still the most talked about film at the Cannes Film
Based on
Festival.
It was-
story.
Sharknado is hard to describe in words. I tried my best. You
I'm
just need to
I'm
watch
pretty
it.
When
sure
I
the
say most
title
talked about-
does everything for me
Yeah.
that I would need
I mean,
to know.
it's
I'm
just
not sure
amazing.
if it was Sharknado or there. I think there was
Sharktopus.
no Sharkalanche.
Sharkland. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look up the
Sharkalanche.
tagline for Sharkalanche because it's something
like-
like something, but
Snow
the
is only
science is all
frozen.
real. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh my
You
god.
know-
No, it's
Sharkland.
I'm
snow
doing
is only frozen water. The science works.
So, yeah.
Have you seen
Oh no,
Iron
so the
Sky?
science is solid. That's what it is.
Seen what?
Iron Sky?
No.
With,
Is that George-
I'll just give you a brief rundown and
no,
then
no,
watch the
I
trailer.
have.
Is that
I
the
have.
Nazi
Sarah
one?
Palin
Yeah.
is the president of the United States. The Nazis never left. They just hid on the dark side of the moon, and now
Yep.
they're back.
It-
So
this
it's
movie
Sarah
was
Palin.
amazing. This movie was
versus-
amazing.
I couldn't finish it, but
Oh
I
my
still love the
God. I
premise.
couldn't finish
Just
it.
watch the trailer. That's all you need to watch. Sarah
watch the
Palin,
movie. It's
President
really
Sarah Palin versus the moon Nazis.
Yes.
Ballin'.
We need to remind
It's
all
amazing.
listeners that I don't think Sharkalanche is on Netflix, but Sharknado.
I don't think
is.
Iron
Sharklanche
Sky
is. I don't think Sharklanche is real.
No,
No, it is.
Sharklanche is real.
Boner.
No,
I don't think it's
no,
coming
the
out yet,
actual
right?
tagline
No,
on the
it's
front of
on
the movie
DVD.
says,
I saw it in
"Snow is
VH1.
just frozen water. The science is solid."
It's amazing. But yeah, Sharknado, you need to see it. It's a must see.
And that's how excited we are about 47 Ronin. Is right? Yeah.
We got off topic, but 47 Ronin, I think we summed up pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very much, as long as the action sequences are rock solid.
I disagree.
There's
I think that we saw that the action sequences are rock solid. I'm more interested in the plot, which they couldn't
we saw the
show.
clips of. You see the clips.
But sometimes you watch a trailer, you get the sense they put all the best action into the trailer. They can't go into the backstory of what those creatures were that was fighting. I felt like there's some ominous mythological thing.
I don't think they're going to go.
Then it's
going to
be a crap movie.
I don't think
it's going to be a crap movie. Then I don't think the action.
Okay, see,
even if the action scenes are stellar, it will be just like 100 other movies.